Hey, what's up guys, I'm Praetorian and welcome back to HOI4 as we're playing with Germany. So last episode I asked you guys what we should do about our situation with the two communist factions. Out of the around 2,000 people that watched that episode, only 6 people responded to this question and it was split down the middle. So 3 people felt that we should leave things as they were with the 2 separate factions, though some of them did agree that we should get United States out of the war since we didn't want to fight them for this particular campaign, while the other 3 viewers wanted us to combine the 2 factions into one communist super faction, which again was the goal for the campaign, is to have one large fascist faction and one large communist one that would duke it out. And since it was a tie, that was the route I ultimately decided to go. And I based that off of one of the comments that a viewer posted where he said, you know, with so many of these campaigns, we have these goals and they almost never work out. You know, the national focus trees are complex. There's a lot going on there, and it's really easy to have multiple factions of a particular ideology. And so, yeah, it just never goes the way that I designed it to, with the exception of one campaign where I had a mod that I created, which basically took any country that went a certain ideology and then threw them into that particular faction, dismantled any other factions. And so because we had that mod, that one did work out for the most part the way that we wanted it to. But I agree with that viewer. It would be nice to have a campaign go the way we want, at least to some degree, you know, where we have the faction set up in a more difficult way, because I think this is the more challenging route. Somebody had thought that I didn't want to go with the 2 factions because that would be harder. I think it would have been really easy. As I said at the end of that episode, I think we would have easily conquered France. Switzerland and Romania wouldn't have been difficult either. Italy could have put up a fight. I'm not sure. It depends on how many divisions they have. We saw they don't have that many though, not as much as they would normally have. And really it also depended on how quickly the United States could get those troops there. But if we made the U.S. neutral as I intended to, I think we would have easily defeated the French faction. So ultimately that would have resulted in the 4th International being much weaker than they're going to be for this route. Look at how massive this communist faction is. So what I did is I just took every country that was supposed to go communist, even if they hadn't fully gone communist, like Canada, Australia, or New Zealand, and then I put them into the 4th International. Of course, that includes France. Spain was already in there. Portugal in the faction. Italy and all of their subject states are in there. We also got Greece, as well as the 3 Baltic states. Though remember, Latvia did split into 2. They have a non-aligned country as well. But I added the 3 communist ones. Essentially, I added all the countries that should have been in there, with the exception of India. And that's because, if you recall, they always have this war with Pakistan. It eventually results in a white peace, and so I didn't want that to cause any issues, and so we'll want to wait. And then I did the same thing with the fascist countries, or the countries that are supposed to be fascist, which there really wasn't many. I think it was just like 3 or 4. So basically we added the Turkish Empire, which they were going fascist. I think they'd already gotten the fascist government, they just hadn't joined the faction. Also got South Africa into the faction, and I added Ethiopia even though they were non-aligned, because we had originally set for them to go fascist, but it didn't go the way it was supposed to. And just to add a bit more fascist into Africa, because as of right now it's almost all communist in this continent, since of course the French, the British, and the Italians own the majority of the territory, but then Congo is also in the communist, as is Portugal. So adding Ethiopia should give South Africa a little bit more of a chance to win that fight. And then the last thing I did is I added Japan and their subjects into the Axis so that we can have just these 2 large factions fighting out, rather than Japan having their own separate faction. This could create some issues. For example, they're at war with China still. We won't want to assist in that. And then of course the Japanese almost always attack the United States. Sometimes they go the other route where they bypass the Philippines. I've seen them do it on their own a few times, so maybe they'll go that route, but more than likely they'll attack the Philippines. But we've already messed with things once before with the modded events, so I don't see any reason why I can't do it again if the Japanese do attack the United States. just make the US neutral again. Now you notice that I haven't said anything about Romania yet. I wasn't sure what to do with them. Somebody said we should just leave ourselves at war with them. It doesn't really make sense to add them into either of the two factions since they are non-aligned. And if we just made peace with them, they would continue to cause issues here in the Balkans. So we're just going to go ahead and conquer them. And we are the weaker faction as well. So I think it makes sense for us to get a little bit more territory. I could have added them to our faction, but I just don't want to. We're going to ignore those call to arms. Because yeah, I don't actually want Romania in our faction. They're refusing to accept the result of the mediation, so that was that event that fired last time. So I suppose we'll just go with this option and get the free war support. Not that it really matters that we're guaranteeing the Hungarians. Although it seems that the British were also guaranteeing the Hungarians or sided with them or something. God, you just can't stop the crazy stuff from happening. So it seems that their faction then would declare war on them, which I actually don't want. But I guess it's fair if they get the chance to conquer territory too. So we got this guy going this way. We'll have this guy go through here. So that means that the Soviets could potentially get some of this territory, like Bessarabia, if their faction joins fast enough. This means we need to get some military factories assigned, but I think this proves that we made the right decision, because the two communist factions would have ended up at war with each other, guys. Because the British, as you can see, they went to war with Romania, and before, Romania was in the French faction. And so what would have happened is that the Fourth International, because the British would have declared war on Romania, which means they would have declared war on that entire anti-fascist faction. So the two communist factions would have been at war, and since the United States was in that faction, that would have resulted in chaos over here as well. Some people might have liked that kind of chaos, but I think it would have been easier for us. We could easily have exploited it, taken over the Netherlands and France and Italy, while the communists just duked it out. So I personally feel that this is going to be the more challenging route. So we're going to get these assigned to the armored support vehicles. I know we have 5, but we'll get up to 7 there. And then I guess we should also add to the medium tanks and the mechanized equipment here. Now I'm noticing that we're having some resource shortages. I don't know if that was something that was created due to those wars that happened. Well, it seems we're getting all the rubber. We just need more. So we'll trade 2 factories to Siam. We also need chromium. Well, we got an ally in Turkey that can provide us with tons of chromium. So we have to find somebody else to trade with. I don't think there's anybody on our side. Rubber is going to be something we're going to be short on throughout this campaign. We're going to have to trade with communists until we solve our rubber problems. So I guess we'll trade with Malay, give them 2 factories. I am getting some more of the synthetic refineries constructed, but clearly we're going to need a bit more. So we'll build, I don't know, like 4 total there and see how we're doing. That's clearly not going to solve our issues. Rubber is going to be a problem throughout the entire campaign. We got the radar special project completed. All right, excellent. So we got the radar for the land cruisers, and then of course we got the ship radar. All right, excellent. So that's been completed. We'll have to take a look and see what we want to get next. There's really only the helicopters. They do require 2 breakthroughs, which we don't even have a single one. So unfortunately won't be able to get anything else researching just yet. Yeah, I definitely feel like this was the best way to do it, guys. We got our tanks here. Excellent, so they'll be able to progress much faster, although they are lacking supply. But they can progress much faster than the infantry. And we are getting these call to arms. That's just for the war in China. So let's just go ahead and ignore all those, although some of them were actually people trying to join our war. But this conflict against Romania is going to be done very soon. This is going as I had anticipated it would. That would easily just be able to push through their territory. But you can see that the Soviets are now taking over the remaining territory as well, so they're going to get a little bit of something. Although, I don't know how much they'll actually get in the peace treaty, because I feel like our side would have done the majority of the war participation. So yeah, let's make sure that we're grabbing as many of these victory points as possible, so that we're the ones to get, you know, hopefully get all this territory, since we'll have the higher war participation. We'll see if we can get over there. I don't think so, guys. The tanks are pretty fast, though, so we'll have to see if we can't outrun the Soviets. I don't think we need to trade for as much fuel, so we can pull back there a little bit since we're doing pretty good here. In fact, we could probably pull back one more factory. We also finally have the experience to get this trait. We're saving up to get the 10, so we can just apply that automatically, and then we'll need to update the light tanks and the armored support vehicles. Now I do wonder if Romania had still been in that faction, if the British would have declared war on them. It's hard to say exactly what the AI would have done in a different situation. We need to get these guys cut off. You know, let's have the infantry go do that. Alright, so they're already going to the coast there. It seems we have a decision that we need to make regarding our cruiser submarine prototype rating protocol. The impotence of the London naval treaties have rendered any real restrictions on submarine deck armament moot. The question remains, however, whether we should prioritize prestige armaments over tactical range. If we select flexible operations, we'll get access to extra fuel tanks, which extend the range of our submarine, so basically exactly what it said, greater tactical range. Or we could get the 200mm batteries, a formidable deck gun of a caliber more commonly found on light cruisers. Well, that seems kind of fun and interesting, a little bit different. The cruiser submarines already have high range. I mean, that's really what they do. I guess having even higher range would be useful. But I don't know, guys. I kind of want to go for something different. That just seems kind of fun to have, to see if it can't have a little bit of a light attack to defend itself. I don't know how exactly that will work, because I don't know that you've ever been able to put battery guns on a submarine in HOI 4. If you could, I don't recall being able to do that. So yeah, we're gonna go in and get that, guys. So yeah, I really like this whole special project system. It's interesting. We're gonna attack with these guys, lock them down while the tanks and the infantry go into those mountains. I said we stay out of the mountains, but you know, if we can take them over without having to fight for them, I don't see any reason not to. We'll have to stop here. Let's just try and get across so that the Soviets don't get that territory. That's a better way to do that. Looks like the Hungarians have not pushed forward at all. Nobody's taken any territory that way. Not surprising. We've got to do all the work here. Alright, so this is done. What we want to do is get across the river. We'll send all of our troops to get this done quickly and destroy that one remaining unit. Alright, so let's go and push forward into these rails. Get those taken over. Yeah, we're not succeeding on any of these attacks, simply because our tanks are lacking supply. And so we don't actually win any of those battles. Let's go and take that location over. So I definitely feel like we have enough troops over here, because we're already having supply issues, and you know, many of our allies are involved in this, and so they're causing problems. We've almost reached the capital, though I don't even know if I want to take the capital yet, because I don't want the war to end. I do want credit for taking the capital since it's worth 20 victory points. Well, let's take over some more territory first to get more war score. I think that would be in our best interest. Just kind of ramp up the war score so that we can hopefully take more over, because I really don't want the Soviets to get too much. You know, if they take over, you know, a little bit of territory, then that's fine. But I'd like to get as much as possible, and we are going to be a little limited on what all we can get. Looks like we're going to have to take it over, or else somebody else is going to do it. Alright, so it looks like this front is done. Let's go ahead and fix this. So we're going to get rid of all of these fronts here. And I will take this guy, make sure he goes over onto this one. And I suppose we'd want to extend this We're gonna have a very large front with the Soviets now. I don't know if we'll be able to defend all that, but the Polish should help us. So we're trying to take over that location. You know what, we need to get this motorized over here. I know that that's a retreat, but that's fine because I want to make sure that we're the one to take that over. We've got all kinds of allied divisions over here, and so we don't want them to take it over instead. Let's make sure these guys don't leave either. And again, we're going to avoid attacking in these mountain locations, or at least avoid fighting anybody in the mountain locations. 2 days and 2 hours for that province. We'll get there in 13, so we'll beat them. So we're not holding this, but we can attack there and get a victory. We don't want to attack across the river here, so we'll avoid doing that. And I guess we'll attack this really weak unit as well. So this is all getting us war score. Before we take that over, I want to see exactly how we've done in the conflict when it comes to casualties. So we've lost 2.3 thousand troops to the Romanians. Well, they have lost 65,000. Most of that is to the Hungarians, so they're fighting a lot on that front. The Hungarians killed 38.5 thousand. How many did they kill of the Hungarians though? Not as many. So Hungary's doing pretty good against Romania. Poland killed 9.1 thousand while losing 2,000 of their own. And we killed 7.1 thousand. So pretty good kill-death ratio. And it seems that our side has a majority of the war participation. We have 37%, 16% for Poland, 28% for Hungary, 5% for Yugoslavia, so they're also fighting in this conflict. And then we've seen that the Soviets are involved, 4% there, 3% for Greece. So I don't know if they'll have enough points to do anything. And it hasn't finished yet. I think we're going to be getting points faster than they are. I guess we're defending here. Oh, we don't want to retreat. We want to stay there. But taking over that victory point there is going to be really helpful. I guess we'll have to attack across here. I usually try and avoid attacking cross rivers, but let's try and get some war score, guys. We did take that over, and that has not finished up the conflict just yet. They are currently 78% towards capitulation. I wasn't sure if that would end it or not, so I wanted to make sure that we looked at the stats while we had an opportunity to. We're going to attack over here so we can take over this province. We'll wait till that guy leaves. And yeah, we got to finish up over here because the front is a little too large at the moment. So go ahead and ramp up there. If we had a unit, we could grab this, cut those guys off. Suppose we could attack with this guy here. Go grab that location. And then we should probably help out with this defense. You know what, let's actually attack this location here. So hopefully that should result in us winning. Alright, so these troops can't get out now. And it looks like we just entered into December 1st. It's not necessary to spend the experience on those campaign instructions. We do have a trait for the raiding fleet. I suppose since we're using these for the light cruisers, we should get this trait, since it would apply to all cruisers, reducing their surface visibility. So I'll go ahead and make that adjustment, and that means we'd also only want to build one more of these, which that one will be constructed on the 12th of February. I think that's the first one that will get done. Still just the Austrians justifying against us. It's got some troops cut off over here, so I want to get them destroyed. Don't really have much troops to get it done. So maybe we'll have this guy help out, since he can't push forward there. We already got the tank grabbing that location, which will cut off these troops here. It's funny that the whole world has gone to war with Romania. Look at the situation, guys. We got our maintenance company 2, excellent. So I'm glad we got that done before we entered 1940, because there's going to be a lot of stuff to research in 1940. In fact, I think we're close enough to start working on those techs. So we're going to start with the improved computing machines in order to get that increased research speed. We also get the bomb sights and the tank stabilizers. Also, we have an event here, and unfortunately there was an explosion, so that reduced the progress. Also, Rote got injured for 60 days, so I think that means he can't give his bonuses, he might not even be able to advance it for that time. And then there'll be the damage of the facility and the infrastructure as well. So that's a negative thing. But it did remind me that we need to get these super heavy howitzers constructed. As for what we're going to use these for, I guess we could try putting them on our infantry. So we had to get rid of one of their other support companies. I'm not sure which one that would be. So I'll have to take a look and see what division might want to put those on. But for now, we'll just get some factories invested into them so we can start constructing them. And we got another trait here. This one's for the naval aircraft designer. In fact, it's our first trait. So we're going to be getting increased reliability. And it looks like we're not actually using that yet. So we'll want to correct that. So we'll go down to our naval bombers here. And then go ahead and get the MIO assigned to them for the naval aircraft designer, since they will now get a bonus. I think that's the reason why we didn't do that before. It's because we weren't getting any actual bonus from that. We're still short on the tungsten, so we're going to have to trade with somebody. I almost want to stop trading with Sweden, just because their economy's been getting so high. That does mean we're going to have to give out a lot more civilian factories. I don't think we have any allies that we want to grant these to either. So we'll just have to trade with Chile. Give them 5 civilian factories, and that will get us to the point that we're not lacking any resources. Let's go ahead and attack here. I'll also send the motorized into that attack. Still trying to get these troops destroyed. So we're defending that location. They're trying to rescue them. And Pakistan and India have just signed their white peace as we expected. Let's go and have this guy stay here and grab that location. Still waiting for this tank to get this. There we go, excellent. So that we can get these troops here wiped out, though we don't really have anybody to do the job. Oh, it looks like we didn't even take that, somebody else did. Okay. Well, as long as it got done, I suppose. Still trying to wipe out that troop. And because we got more countries in our faction, we have the option to select another operative. And there's actually a tough commando who has Soviet nationality. So I think he's our best option. Yeah, we're gonna go with him. So we could send him over to the Soviets now, but I think there's other locations where he could be better used. And the one extra guy that we have there, he was in Romania. And so he's not able to work there anymore because there's nowhere to be. We might be able to assign him to that location. But I think we're instead going to go ahead and prepare a collaboration government in Austria, since that's who will likely attack next. And we don't do this often enough. It makes sense to send Otto, but he's already working in Austria. We'll just keep him there. And we'll just send the 2 characters that we have available. Alright, so we want that to commence when ready. They do require 200 support equipment, the 100 infantry equipment, and they'll be using our factories as well. So look at that repaired. And overall it should be fairly easy to get Austria conquered, given that we've been doing the foreign propaganda there for a while. And yeah, we're doing that collaboration government, so it'll be easy to conquer and integrate. We got the field hospital too, so we're starting to get all of these finished up. There's still the recon companies if we wanted to get the reconnaissance, but the main reason why I even get the recon companies is for the speed bonuses. We do need to get the signal company 2s though, so I suppose we'll invest in that. And then the next one, we might use that for submarines. The 1940 submarines. So they are retreating into Bulgaria. Doesn't look like we're going to win that battle, so we'll just go ahead and stop it. No reason to do an attack that's going to fail. Let's go ahead and also attack this, or maybe we should just support, so we're not leaving the front line. And then these guys, we don't want them attacking across the river, so let's go this way instead. Let's try to make sure we're getting credit for all these attacks, many of which, you know, in this area are across rivers. Not really any way to avoid that, unfortunately. In this particular case, we can go this way and not get the river penalty. Just ignoring those call to arms because I don't want to go help in China. Alright, we don't want these guys leaving, so let's make sure they stay here, and that is it. The Kingdom of Romania has capitulated. So we have the second most points after the Hungarians. Poland has 58 points, Yugoslavia has 37. So what I really want is this location for the oil. So I'm not going to create a subject state. I think we're just going to take, maybe we'll take that one if we can. But really I just want this one and then this one. Yeah, we'll wait to do that. Let's go ahead and submit our demands. And the Hungarians are going to fight us on that. And they do have a claim on it, so it's going to be cheaper for them. So I don't know if I'll be able to get this one, because that's what I really want. As of right now, we do have the points. We can't claim this one. And I don't think we should do anything else like try and get ships, because we might be struggling to get control of these. Well, it looks like we currently have them. So let's go and get this one next. And then with Bulgaria, I assume it would be best to just make them into a subject. If we wanted to take over Bessarabia, so that we'd have some territory to invade the Soviets from, which is actually ours, then now would be the time. Also, it's going to look kind of weird if the Hungarians get control of all this. So we might try and get all this. I don't want Transylvania, they can have that. Regardless, this is going to be kind of funny. Oh damn, I messed this up. I didn't mean to take this one. I thought it was one of these ones that they were contesting. But it looks like it was that one, which I don't even know how I got that in my hands in the first place. So I actually don't want that. But it looks like there's no way for us to give that up. We don't have the points to get that one. So let's go and submit our demands. And they are going to contest us on those areas. So now we're all fighting over this territory, and I don't know if we'll be able to win it or not. Looks like we still have some points. I'm going to try and get this one. And that one, it'd be best if that went to Poland. So if it's not going to go to them, we should take it. This is going to look terrible. The map's going to look like garbage, guys. I can try and give that back to the Hungarians. We'd have to use the consul, though. There's no way for me to give them that one territory. This is going to be a mess, guys. We might just have to fix it. Try and make it look better. Let's go and submit our demands here. And yeah, they are contesting all these locations. But just kind of trade some territories. I suppose we can try and puppet some of Bulgaria. We can only get that one. Okay, so let's go and submit our demands. So just trying to get that last location, Bessarabia. We still have 87 points. This would be 142. Is it cheaper to get it ourselves? It is. Although it appears that's all of our points, guys. Yeah, our 87 is not going to get us anything. Everything's getting too expensive. Alright, so we can go ahead and take their fleet. And that's going to be all that we're able to do. Because I don't think the 42 points are going to get us anything. Alright, so let's go ahead and confirm and exit, and we'll see just how bad this situation looks. So the Hungarians took over most of Bulgaria, and yeah, it just looks absolutely terrible. I really feel like they should just release Bulgaria, just to make the map look better. And we see that Yugoslavia has increased their strength as well. They got some of these states. But what I think we're going to do is change this state over to Hungarian control, and then maybe grant this one. I know that's not exactly a fair trade, although as far as like factories go, it's pretty close. But taking this one was a mistake, and frankly it just looks really odd, them having this one and we have this one. So we'll switch those two, and then maybe just have the Hungarians release Bulgaria, which I think would be better for the faction as well. And as the faction leader, we would be able to make such demands of the weaker Hungarians. Alright guys, so I feel like that looks a lot better. Bulgaria is a subject of the Hungarians, and they're back to being the legionnaire. Bulgaria going down their focus tree as they were supposed to be until Romania messed that all up. And this is our territory here, and the Hungarians are a little bit larger. Now, I can see that the AI just continues to want to mess things up. The federal state of Austria has now joined that Mexican faction, the Synarchist Pact, with Venezuela and the Dominican Republic in it. So that's unfortunate, because again, we're trying to stop from having any wars in the Americas, or at least keep those wars contained to the Americas and the European war contained here. I should just say the old world, I guess, since the communist fascist war will also extend to Asia. So this is that agreement that we made with Bulgaria, where we said we'd give them any territory that they have a claim on. So basically it's just this little patch of territory here, I think. I don't know if they'll have any further claims. As of right now, it just says that one. So I don't have any issues giving them that particular spot. No, it seems it was both of them. I mean, that's not bad. We have a port. That's what matters. I don't really care that we didn't get these, and it makes Bulgaria stronger. It looks a little weirder, but it's fine. What I really wanted here was to have the oil. That's the key there. Now, where are those ships that we got? Were those brought back over here? Let's take a look. So it looks like we got a bunch of destroyers. We also got a level 2 submarine. So we'll get them training up. And then with this task force, we'll just put them over here and then let them train up. We still have a lot of these submarines training up, and what we'll start doing is putting them into these other task force, because we actually have the full 10 task force at the moment, so we'll just be increasing the size of these. We could also just put some in reserves as well to replace the ships that we know we're going to eventually lose. Let's get these 3 submarines joining the training task force. And again, just ignoring those call to arms. Remember, we're not going to get the paratrooper Special Forces doctrine just yet. We're going to work on the air doctrines for now. We also finally have the political power to change up to the construction company. So let's go ahead and do that. Get some nice bonuses there. And now we'll have to continue saving up our political power to do anything else. But we're no longer getting that one penalty that we were getting for that thing that we did with Sweden. We got the logistic company too. So again, we're going to be moving to the naval techs, 1940 techs, specifically the submarine hull. I'm not sure if we'll use these over the cruiser submarines. We do need those modules that the tech grants, so we want to research it regardless. We have a lot of army experience, and we do have some adjustments to make. So remember, I asked you guys for suggestions for our medium tank division name, and somebody proposed Das Reich. So this is the name of the 2nd SS Panzer Division. So we're still basically naming it after an SS division. But yeah, I think that's fine. I'm okay with that name. And we need to go ahead and add in the medium self-propelled artillery. So I did forget to do this last episode. So that's going to cost us the 30 experience. So we won't be able to add anything else to them just yet when it comes to the support companies. But we get them up to the 30 combat width that we want them to be at. And I think we can go ahead and start training some of these because we now have a lot of the equipment that we need. So you know what, we should probably wait to get those training because we want to get the new equipment to these guys first. And I'll probably need to get trained again as well. Yeah, so we'll have to keep them in the training army. And we did get the improved rubber processing, so that's pretty helpful considering the fact that we are so short on rubber. And I don't think we can spare the research slot to get the improved oil processing right now because yeah, we're just too close to 1940 and we got a lot of things we need to work on. Let's actually go ahead and start on the aircraft. We have a 50% modifier for the improved small aircraft, so that's what we're going to get first. And we'll be using that light aircraft designer. And so it's only going to take like 100 something days. We also got a trait for our automotive manufacturer, and we could get the breakthrough for our trucks, but you know what, let's get the armor for the mechanized. I won't get this one, which decreases the production cost in exchange for defense, so we'll need to get those updated. Make sure that we're using those for the mechanized as well and not just the trucks, because yeah, the trucks shouldn't have even been changed there. So yeah, let's go and get the new mechanized out there with the increased armor. And we're still short on the tungsten, so we're gonna have to trade another civilian factory away here. And we also got the agricultural reforms national focus. So let's go and return to our air focuses. So I'm really tempted to go ahead and finish this one up, the paratrooper one, before we start going down this branch. Yeah, we're going to get that. It's a 35-day focus. And yeah, again, we're just going to be continued to be called into these conflicts. South Africa did decide to lead the faction. That's because they're not yet fascist. So again, we'll just have to continue to adjust the factions. We're going to have to invest more in the tactical bombers. I think we're probably good with just one factory in the trains, despite the fact that we do need trains at the moment. Yeah, we'll just add South Africa back to the faction, or maybe they'll just join once they're fully fascist, because they still have the democratic government. So they're not interested in being in a fascist faction until after that changes over. We also got to deal with the Austria situation because I don't want them in that pact. I'll have to see what happens there because the war will likely start over them, because I am not willing to lose our war goal on them, and we only have that until I think it's December. Yeah, the 30th of December of this year. And so that's probably what the conflict would start over, because remember, they're still being guaranteed, although maybe they're not anymore. You know what, because they're at war, or perhaps because they're in a faction, but I think it's because they're currently at war. They're helping out in that Mexican Civil War. That does mean that nobody can guarantee them. And so right now would be the perfect time to declare war on them. Of course, that would result in us being at war with that entire faction. So I want to pull them out of the faction, which means we could declare war on them, but I feel kind of odd about, you know, taking advantage of the fact that they no longer have the guarantees on them. Now, maybe they would reestablish them fairly quickly. Yeah, I don't know if I would actually want to declare war on them like that, because I figured that's what would start the conflict up. Now, there's many other ways that the conflict can start as well. Japan could attack the Dutch East Indies, and they're in the communist faction. Of course, we could just start the war. I wouldn't be surprised if the communists invade us. I know Poland, down their focus tree, they'll try and get some claims on the Soviets as well as on the Baltic states. So there are a lot of ways that the war could start up. But I wanted to start up this year, either mid-1940 or late 1940. I feel like that's giving the communists, particularly France, Italy, and the Soviets, enough time to recover from their civil wars. So we need to research the heavy bombs tech next, since this unlocks several special projects, including the bouncing bomb, but also the earth shaker bomb. So we need to work on that, guys. So that would be 75 days before we make use of one of our MIOs. Probably should do the medium aircraft designer. I think that makes the most sense for heavy bombs, get them a bit of funding. But also just use a light aircraft designer in order to get them some more traits, some more funding. So we got these guys done training. Do they have all their equipment? Can we go ahead and get another one training? So that's what we're lacking. Medium tanks, the self-propelled artillery, and the armored support vehicles. So we need to start putting some factories into that. And let's go ahead and get these guys set up to go into the training army. We're done with the paratroopers for right now. I know we could train a lot more, but I want to make sure we have some slots left for other types of special forces, particularly the mountain troops, who we want to start designing as we get more experience. We should also get some more light tanks, because those are always useful. Let's go ahead and deploy that one as well. I suppose we'll get about 5 more infantry battalions training. I'm hesitant to do too many of these because we are short on manpower, which means we're going to have to change up our conscription laws soon. So we'll just get the 5 battalions for now. But yeah, if we wanted to change up one of these, and I'm not entirely sure which one we'd change, but this is what it would look like if we added in the super heavy artillery. We'd also have to make sure that we got some of these constructed, because each one of our divisions would need 3 of those. But look at the huge impact these make. That's 41 more soft attack, also increasing hard attack by 4. You're getting increased breakthrough and a bit more piercing, not a lot more though. So I'd consider adding those in. I'm not sure what we'd get rid of though, and we'd have to wait again until we got some more of those produced. So unfortunately we have to end today's episode here. We got the war with Romania done, And now we should be able to make good progress because we don't have any more conflicts until the main one. I don't know who else we'd attack unless we did the war with Austria. But again, I'm not entirely sure how I feel about attacking them since they should have those guarantees by Italy and Britain, which means that if we invaded Austria, it would start the larger conflict. So I don't know if I want to take advantage of the fact that they joined that faction. And then, of course, if we pulled them out of the faction, then they wouldn't even have their protection. So I don't know if I want the war to start that way. But we do have to get Austria conquered eventually. And we will be pulling them out of that Mexican faction. Yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy today's episode. If you did, make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment. And we're just going to leave off here taking a look at that massive 4th International faction, as well as our own faction, which has actually gotten a little bit smaller in today's episode because South Africa has left. Yeah, I'll see you guys on the next video, and thanks for watching.